Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Shadowrun Hong Kong. We took a step forward and now we are in her world. Kinya is here and she's healed by her servitors, so we definitely need to kill them. There are 3 of them around, it looks like. Just 3, that's not so bad. She is truly a terrifying looking creature. Not resplendent like her initial form. And we are going to have to kill her many things. We also don't have our... Oh, we do have Koshi here. Okay, it's like, where's our drone? But it's here. We're going to take control of it. I thought maybe the drone didn't make it to this primordial world. But it did. We're good. Okay, so we have 4 AP. We need 5 AP. We're gonna just start going to town on the behemoths, I guess. We also need to get to cover, though. Some sort of cover would be nice, but there's not a whole lot around, I guess. Well, there, but that's where Raptor's sitting. That's 2 turns away, that's too far away. Yeah, whatever, you know what, we're just gonna stay here. Let's go. We smacked it around for a little bit. Bunch of more damage. We're gonna move everyone away from our main character. We're just gonna kill one of these guys, hopefully this turn. Go Gaishu, you can do it, I believe in you. Excellent, it killed it. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. Already starting out, good. We need to get Gobbet into cover, she's gonna go over there. Now we have 5 actions with our drone, who's going to come over here and just start to kill that one. Who's going to kill this one? Probably our main character next turn, when we can properly start to destroy it with our whip. Let's see what she does. She hits pretty hard. Luckily we have heal. She is doing something odd. Alright, whatever. Okay, so Gobbet is going to be first up. She's going to heal our main character because that hurt quite a lot. It was a solid critical hit from the enemy. We're going to move and attack this guy. I don't think this one's going to be very hard to kill. One dead. I guess another one dead, I should say. And that's all of her little dudes. Just cast aim on ourselves, now that I think about it. Raptor, you can't really do all that much, so just buff up your drone, make it aim better, even though it's only for ranged, I'm pretty sure. And get in here and start hitting this lovely lady. No? Alright, well we tried. Maybe the drone will take a hit. That'd be nice, because the drone has tons of life and a lot of armor. Where is she going? She moves so unnervingly weird. Okay, her armor's down a tiny bit, but not very much. A lot of life. Should I get to cover? Whatever. It's fine. There we go. We finally got a critical hit on her. And guys, she misses. And he misses again. She hit for 9. Oh, I tried. That did not work as well as I had hoped. Raptor kinda sucks, so... I shouldn't say that. Raptor is really good because of his drone. Raptor alone kinda sucks. Oh good, he did get the armor break on her. That is very helpful. Thank you. Ooh, good dodge, Gaishu. That could have been really... That is really bad. Okay, well, he lost 2 AP. But luckily our main character is just going to go ahead and whip her in the face a bunch of times. I really do think a full auto gun probably would have been better in terms of damage, but the monofilament whip has served us pretty well. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Did he finish her? Nope. Okay. We defeated Kinya. As the Kama King's body crumbles, a cackling sound fills the air. Once again, her broken body begins to knit itself back together. The flow of black ichor from her many wounds slows to a stop and reverses, the viscous fluid snaking its way back up into the holes and ruptures that it poured from. Projections on top of projections, all aspects of our divine being, shed as easily as a lizard sheds its tail. Her voice is ripe with mockery. You cannot harm us, meat, but you have amused us. Kinya halts, her crowned head cocking to one side. Perhaps you are worthy of an audience after all. Perhaps. Her voice trails off and her head tilts upward. From behind you, you can hear the pounding of sound of approaching footsteps. Oh, there's the other team. Wait, where's the rest of the group? Where's all the Yellow Lotus? As he falls into position behind you, Duncan's jaw drops open. Raymond Black steps forward, an expression of grim determination on his face. Oh shit, she's real. He does his best to stand his ground as Kinya turns to face him. His voice is full of awe and terror. I did this. I brought this creature here. He speaks in the grim tone of a man on his way to the gallows. His complexion has gone grey as ash. My fault, my responsibility. The queen with 1,000 teeth cackles with glee. It has returned to us, the tunnel builder, the architect of my ascendancy. Ascendancy? The creature leans in towards Raymond, its spidery fingers weaving hypnotically. The thing's robes billow like the belly of a jellyfish, pulsing organically with the rhythm of a heartbeat. You will have a special place in our court, builder. You will stand by our side, exalted for all time, a living token of our unending rule, and an undying symbol of the folly of man. I have been a fool, yes. His hands clench into fists so tight that his knuckles go white. The skin on his face is flushed with the effort of fighting through the stammer jumbling in his words. The great fool, but I will not be your slave. I will stop you. The queen with 1,000 teeth leans forward, her movements full of alien grace. The gaping crescent of her mouth parts into a ghastly smile, and you can see row upon row of fangs. They run down her throat in overlapping layers, a bristling forest of glistening, sharpened enamel. Leave him alone. You were talking to me, remember? She steeples her fingers. Their hardening tips click against one another with sound like grinding teeth. You are bold, meat, but you are also correct. We do not break our promises, and you have earned some modicum of respect. Kinya turns her full attention back to you, and the smile widens. You can feel it deep in your gut. It tunnels into you like a lamprey, leaves you feeling open and cold. In truth, you amuse us. Your persistence in the face of the inevitable is a pleasure to behold, and so we have decided to grant you a rare honor. We offer you a deal. I don't want to deal with you, parasite. I want to destroy you. The cackling laugh returns, raising the hair on your back of your neck and sending a shiver down your spine. What you want is immaterial. You are impotent to harm us, meat. Surely that is clear by now. We offer you a choice. Hear our deal or be destroyed. Make your decision and do it quickly. Our patience runs thin. Alright, give me your pitch. Our terms are simple. We want you to leave. Leave the chattel here to their fates. Forget about them. Acknowledge that they are ours and then think on them no more. She gestures towards the door that you came from. Leave the walled city now and do not return. Accept that it is our domain now and forevermore. In exchange, we will grant you 14 years of good fortune. Every wish fulfilled, every desire granted, a charmed life from the moment you leave to the day that our deal elapses. You can do this with a wave of our hand. We have swum the waters of fortune since the beginning of time. It's a trivial matter for us to divert them. The Yamakin crackles. So will you accept our deal? Will you take the deal? No, the price is too high. I won't let you have this place. A pity, a shame. You could have had everything that your heart ever desired. She clucks her tongue at you, a hollow, resonant sound. Instead, you will suffer as no living being has suffered before. Her robes shimmer again and the claws come out once again. Her voice grows to a deafening roar. We will succor your sorrow until the sun turns to dust. Okay, I guess we're killing her again. It doesn't seem like it's going to be all that hard, you know, because she is alone this time to start with. Okay, that's round 1 of Armor Breakingville. We need to break more armor before we deal with her some more, so let's get... We have everybody here, including Duncan and Isabel. This should be really easy. We have literally all of our people. Let's rank up Koshi a little bit. Alright, let's give aim to Koshi. I know that's not going to let us have... Well, it will let us have haste on our main character. Okay, so Koshi's got aim and haste. I need him to tear off her armor. Oh, well, we tried. And he missed. Does Duncan have any abilities to pierce armor? I wonder if we can take her down, AP. Nope. Well, open fire. It's unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that she would hit too. Alright, well, it's up to our main character to finish it off, I guess. Should be fine. As you watch, the Yama King's broken carcass withers and dissipates. Seconds later, all that's left of her is a cloud of rancid mist. Oh, that was easier than I thought it would be. I guess she was hurt worse than she let on, trying to trick us into making a bad deal. Serves her right. Raymond, you ready to turn off this machine? I've been ready for more than 2 decades. He points at a dingy terminal just in front of the towering machine. I cannot. The control console is just over there. We must move quickly. Alright, let's do it. The Fortune engine itself stands before you, an enormous malevolent presence that fills the test chamber ahead. Raymond presses forward, leaning in to study the control console with a look of determination on his face. I will close the rift. I will just need... He bends over the terminal, frowning. His eyes dart from readout to readout as you watch the blood drains from his cheeks. What's wrong? Destroy the thing before she comes back. I can't. He gestures at the technical readouts from the Fortune engine's monitors. There's a one-way flow of astral energy moving from the inner walled city through the tunnel. I know what that is. Cobbett wrinkles her nose and gets a faraway look. She sways for a moment and speaks as if in a dream. I can feel it too. The energy is coming from the people she's feeding on, their essence, their spirits, for lack of a better word. She sways a while longer, a puzzled expression on her face. If I destroy the machine now, it will collapse the tunnel. All those people will have the better part of their essence, what makes them who and what they are, trapped inside with her forever. Thousands of people condemned to an eternity with that parasitic thing. The needs of the many, Ray. Do it. A few thousand people is nothing compared to the entire walled city. He squeezes an eye shut. No, there's a better way. Someone could enter the tunnel, close the rift safely. The people would be saved, restored to life in the real world. And what happens to the person in the tunnel? He stays there forever, with her. There's no way out once the tunnel is closed. There's a long pause as the assembled group digests Raymond's words. Duncan nods to himself, his jaw clenched. He pushes forward. I'll do it. Just tell me what buttons to press. The old man stares at the consoles, cold fear washed across his face. No, if anyone is to do this, it must be me. His voice straightens and you can see the old fierceness rising from within, the iron will of your childhood. It will be me. Hang on a minute, Raymond. No, not Raymond. My name is Edward Sang and I built this machine. I set this avalanche into motion, whether I meant to or not. It is my responsibility to stop it. He turns to you, a look of resignation on his face. That is what this has been all about, what it's been about since the very beginning. Raymond, listen to me, you're too weak for this, just tell me what to do. No, the Yama King could return at any moment. There's no time to teach you what to do in there. I must set things in motion, it must be me. He turns to you, goodbye, Eltimar. He smiles sadly. Thank you for coming to Hong Kong. Thank you for coming when called. Goodbye, Dad. The old man flips a lever and steps back into the machine. There's a flash of light and Raymond Black is gone. Oh, well there we go.
I told you that the past is just a story. That if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. My past is a terrible story. I didn't expect it to end with redemption. Sometimes the debts of the past can't be repaid. But we do what we can. I have done what I can to right my wrongs. And I accept the consequences.
You depart from the Prosperity Chamber and are instantly caught up in a wave of refugees fleeing for their lives. Struggling through the panic wave of humanity, you're able to retrace your steps and eventually reach Haoi. Although the typhoon has passed, the scene is wet and chaotic. The newly homeless crowd the streets, days wandering, searching for missing loved ones and nursing injuries. Relief workers are already on the scene, providing blankets and medical aid. Rescue personnel carry the stunned and wounded to safety. The entire area has been cordoned off by the HKPF, while knight-errant officers and a military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. Interesting. You depart from the oh, it's already the same thing. Never mind. I turned away and turned back, and now I'm just confused, apparently. You emerge from Kowloon walled city to bustling clusters of activity, refugees huddling together, staring back at their lost homes, government troops deploying from armored personnel carriers, news vans setting up remote camera feeds, while reporters scramble to find the right angle for their broadcasts. The air is electric with the threat of potential violence as the panicked peacekeepers eye the growing crowd of evacuating poor. Gobba's eyes dart furtively as she turtles her head between her shoulders. The place is hot, the cops are swarming on the place, and that APB is still out on us. Let's head to the boat, sneaky-like. Sounds good. It's gonna take a year's worth of showers to wash that experience off of me. Isabella lifts her nose towards the reporter interviewing someone from inside the walled city. Looks like we get to see a man-on-the-street interview on our way. The press already have their hooks in someone, hoping for a soundbite. The reporter wears a look of earnest concern, like a coat of cheap deodorant. And is that when you started running? Yeah, I was bad in there, shooting, screaming, I was terrified. And what caused this, sir? Why are the people flooding out of the walled city injured and disoriented? The man stares at the scene around him, bewildered. It's like everyone's saying, some sort of chemical leak, a drug lab exploded or something, caused mass hallucinations. The reporter turns to the camera and pretends to check his notes. There you have it, Sonny. Our third report of mass hallucinations and violence caused by an explosion in an illegal drug lab. And while the reports remain sketchy, it appears that street crime again is on the rise. He half turns and sweeps his arm over the scene. As you can see, it's still turmoil and confusion here, as the police and Executive Council peacekeepers respond to the emergency situation, attempting to maintain order. But in all this chaos, in the maze of poverty that is Kowloon Walled City, we may never know what really happened in there. Back to you in the studio, Sonny. The light on the news camera goes off and the reporter drops his facade. He ignores the bedraggled man beside him and begins packing up his equipment. After a moment, he sees you looking at him and turns to you with a scowl. What are you looking at? You know that guy was regurgitating a line of corporate bullshit, don't you? He laughs sardonically and continues packing. Everyone's regurgitating a line of corp crap, pal. They may not know it, but they are. Everything you see, everything you've been taught, every official you elect, all bought and paid for by the people pulling the strings. Yeah, well, no one's telling me what to think. No eye contact. He remains bent over his equipment case. Of course not, pal. You're different. The reporter finishes packing and stands up straight, brushing the wet grit off his hands. As he does so, his eyes narrow. His gaze moves over you and your crew, flicking from face to face before eventually landing on you. Looks like he came from inside, so tell me, what'd you really see in there? A mess that Josephine sang. A demon goddess named Kinya. She says hi, by the way. Tell her hi back for me, he smirks. What, are you surprised I believe you? We live in the future. Flying cars, dragons, why not a demon goddess? Hell, the court probably summoned her for some kind of fear experiment or something. That kind of shit happens all the time. The walled city is like their little petri dish. They love using them like little rats. They test food additives, body modifications, pharmaceuticals. Whatever some junior executive can dream of, nothing surprises me anymore. Doesn't it bother you? He blinks at you. Why would it? That's just the way it works. Think I give a shit about journalism? Do you think anyone does anymore? Everyone on this island knows that my news service is just a mouthpiece for the Executive Council. Hell, if you look close enough, you'll probably find that it's owned by a member of the Executive Council. People buy what we feed from them because the world is changing and it's scary. They feel small, they need scapegoats to blame, and authority figures to tell them what to think. My news network gives them that. He points at the TRID screen mounted on the side of the news van. And there's a prime example of an authority figure. Jo Sang, rising star in the Executive Council. Just look at her spinning this to her own ends. Talking about the humanitarian relief effort she's mounting. You know? The comm chirps. It's kindly Chang. Go ahead, take your comm. I'm gonna go before the scene turns into some kind of riot. Usually does. Hello, Auntie. Don't hello, Auntie. I lost contact with you. I lost contact with the soldiers I sent into the walled city with you and those Sang assholes, and the government troops are all over the place. Get over here and tell me what the hell happened. Right away, Auntie. No response. The line is already dead. I want to sleep for like a year. Isabel tugs at your arm, her eyelids at half-mast. I'm heading to the crack in Eltimar. I could use some sack time too. See you there. You better go talk to Auntie Seattle. I guess that's me. My dog is very grouchy today. Just keeps like randomly like one barking. It's very annoying. He's just an angry dog. Now he's going back to sleep. I don't understand. Maybe he's having bad dreams. Maybe my little puppy's having nightmares. That could be what it is. The commotion from the streets of Hayoi bleeds into Kindly Cheng's mahjong parlor. Triad soldiers bustle to keep up with their boss's orders. Couriers come in regularly, whispering to a lieutenant, before listening intently and running off again. As you enter, Kindly Cheng is giving instructions to Strangler Bao, who nods enthusiastically. She looks over at you and holds up a hand. Wait. And send Wong and Ho to snatch some of those medical supplies off the relief trucks. With all the excitement, nobody's watching them at all. She nods to herself, grimacing in satisfaction. There'll be a big black market for them over the next few weeks. Good thinking, Miss Cheng. Bao lifts a finger to his ear to transmit the orders. When he sees you waiting, he inclines his head a quarter of an inch. Eltimar, I figured you were dead. Last I heard, my soldiers had found you and everyone was heading into the walled city, and then things got out of control. She takes a pull on her thin black cigar. Where are my people? What the hell happened? We got separated in the walled city. Found out later they were killed. Her eyes are hard little black buttons. Is that how you treat my resources? Looks like business is up these days. You'll make up to the loss. Actually, soldiers die. That's what they're for. No, soldiers for killing the other guy. She takes another drag off her cigar and exhales smoke through her nose. When your soldiers die, it's called losing. She taps her ash on the floor. Well, they knew the risks. They had a shot at moving up and they missed them. Forget them. Got bigger problems like customers and tenants streaming out of the walled city, screaming for their lives. Like the HKPF and those Sang security shitheels swarming the place. She drops the stub of her cigar into an ashtray. Now tell me what happened in the walled city, or do I have to get an acetylene torch and ask nicely? Raymond Black had accidentally summoned a demon god and we had to put her down. Kindly Cheng's eyes get big at that. What kind? A Yama King, Kinya, the queen with 1,000 teeth. Never heard of her. She picks up a bottle of foul spirits and studies the label. Her rusty, mean voice drops low. But I know the Yama Kings. My grandma used to try and scare me with stories about them. I guess that she thought she was teaching me something by scaring the shit out of me. She chuckles softly. I remember one Yama specifically, Fu Mang, the serpent of the setting sun. Oh yes. Fu Mang promised wealth and influence for those willing to do what it was necessary to take it. The story of Fu Mang spoke to me. All he asked in return were 44 hearts, pulled from the chests of those closest to you while they were still alive. Hearts from random victims wouldn't do it, so those who took Fu Mang's bargain would befriend others before taking their hearts, turning their entire network into a list of victims. Yes, Fu Mang spoke to me, but I didn't listen. Strangler Bao leans in, finger to his ear. My apologies, Miss Cheng, but one of the men you sent with the runners into the walled city is still alive. He stumbled into Wong and Ho as they were pulling medical supplies off a lorry. Cheng turns to you with an edge in her voice. At least one came back alive. Strangler Bao lowers his head, listens to his earpiece again. Our man says that Wong Lun Fat is dead. He got shot up by the HKPF inside the walled city. Bao lifts his head and makes eye contact with the Triad boss. He's almost salivating with avarice. Our man saw it with his own eyes, Miss Cheng. With his own eyes? Is that important? Oh yes, very important. It means I have verification from a trusted man. Wong Lin Fat was my superior in the Yellow Lotus at 438. Kindly Cheng's black button eyes sparkled with satisfaction born of malice. He was also a pig. Tell our friend Eltimar what that means, Mr. Bao. A wolfish smile spreads across her face, and her eyes squeeze into crescent moons of pleasure. And say it slow so I can savor it. The death of Wong Lun Fat has opened up a spot for you to move up, madame. You could be the next 438. Bao smiles. The effect is chilling. The gods help those who seize opportunities. Mr. Bao, put every man we have on this. Spread the word. Kindly Cheng says all debts to the Yellow Lotus are suspended for citizens of the walled city until order is restored, and no interest will compound either. Tell them I have medical supplies too, and that there will be no charge for them until the crisis is over. Things seem to be going your way, Auntie. They do indeed, my sweet. I may have brought Josephine Sang down, but I got my career going again. She grabs her bottle and unscrews the cap with her thumb. Your career too, Mr. Bao. You'll be my next straw sandal. Good partners support one another. You've proven that, Miss Cheng. This calls for a drink. The soon-to-be 438 pours 2 shots, and the stink of kerosene stabs your nose like a switchblade. She hands a glass to Bao, touches it with her own, and holds it there. Your loyalty and clear-headedness have proven immensely valuable, Mr. Bao. You are an effective ally, and I wish you great wealth and good fortune. Looks like you two are moving up in the world. Yes, and it appears your fortune is changing too, Eltimar. She pours herself another drink and leaves it sitting on the table. Remember, you have a mysterious benefactor, one who lifted the APB on you. Any idea who that might be? Don't have a clue, but I must admit that bothers me. Must be somebody powerful. Can't imagine it was Josephine Sang. After all, what would her motivation be? It's gotta be somebody else. Yeah, well, it's not like I made a lot of friends since we hit town. I'll tap my network, see if I can find out. But that's for later. I'm interested in an entire piece of your story, my darling. What happened at Prosperity Tower? Did you rescue Raymond Black? Did his mother wipe his memory? It was a hell of a fight, but we beat Sang's security and got Raymond before she could finish. Impressive. You've become quite a Shadowrunner, Eltimar. While you were in Prosperity Tower, did you find out any incriminating data on Josephine Sang? Dirt? Something I can use? She lights her cigar, a gleam of hunger in her shiny black eyes. I'll toss her the data. Something we can use. Financial shenanigans that'll hurt Joe Sang with the Executive Council. Yes, Eltimar, this is your victory too. The thin black cigar bounces excitedly in Kylie's mouth as she speaks. We will be the insurance of her destruction. We're gonna hurt that woman. The Triad boss pulls a cred stick and tosses it to you. The number on the data readout is big, more than twice the payout of a single Shadowrun. With this, Sang's days on the Executive Council are numbered. Now it appears my fortunes truly have changed. She pours 2 more shots from the reeking bottle. Our partnership has become quite enriching, Eltimar. She raises her glass to my new #1 Shadowrunner. May our partnership continue to bear fruit. Let's hope it's to the beginning of something big. Kylie Chang watches you drink, smiling her serpentine smile. Then she downs her glass in one swallow and licks the rim. Jesus. Now, before I get back to business, I must know. How did you go from rescuing Raymond Black to the walled city vomiting people? Ray built a machine in the walled city. It accidentally summoned the big bad thing. That's when everybody ran. The Triad boss cocks her head, raises her cigar to her lips. If the demon summoning machine was accidental, what was the machine supposed to do in the first place? Created fortune. Your foster father created a magical fortune machine? The Triad boss cocks her head and raises her cigar to her lips. Please tell me you have control of this device. Please tell me you brought it to me. Nope, sorry. That's a pity. I'm sure there are plenty of people who could benefit from it. Well, this business has certainly proved lucrative for me. Kylie Cheng studies the glowing tip of her black cigar. I'm in prime position to be the next Yellow Lotus 438. I only lost 4 men, and I finally got something I can use against Josephine Sang. Yeah, well, Raymond didn't make it. He sacrificed himself to stop the demon. Did he? Maybe that's what he came here to do. She lowers her eyes and her voice softens. Everyone makes their choices, my sweet, and everyone pays the consequences. Even you someday. You made quite a splash since arriving in Hong Kong, Eltimar. Many Shadowruns completed in a very short time. Reports from our clients are glowing, mostly. You can add closing the door and a demon goddess to the list. We made a difference. Perhaps for some. For a while. The Triad boss leans in, her voice conspiratorial. Listen to me, my sweet. When I was a girl there had never been a pandemic like Vitus, but in 2010 it happened. We'd never seen death like that. A quarter of the world's population disappeared. It was miserable, pushed us to our limits, but the survivors moved on. And then the spike babies started appearing, and the dwarf babies, and then suddenly there were dragons and goblinization and magic, and every time the world changed we got used to it. So if a demon goddess decided that the walled city was in your living room, and you didn't whatever you did, what would have happened? She shrugs and sniffs. Perhaps the news would cover it, until the next sensation pulled their attention away, but after a while, it would be drowned out by all the other crap competing for our attention, and the demon in the walled city would become a new normal. Well, the new normal is that the walled city isn't under magical influence anymore. Congratulations, the poor can return to their misery with no interference from magical machines or big bad things because of you. Now let me give you a piece of advice in the future, my sweet, something Mr. Cheng used to tell me. Respect ghosts and gods, but keep away from them. Sounds like you almost lost your ass in the walled city. Think you better listen to that. So there is a Mr. Cheng. Kindly smiles mischievously. There have been many Mr. Chengs, my darling. None have lasted long. She stubs out her cigar, screws the top back on her bottle. Now get some sleep, Eltimar. You look like shit. Tomorrow we'll talk about the future. Last time you told me to go to bed, I woke up a Shadowrunner. What happens when I wake up tomorrow? You get to work, my darling. You heard Mr. Bao. The gods help those who seize opportunities. She dips her finger into her empty glass, finds the last drop of liquor, and brings it to her mouth. Kylie Cheng turns away, dismissing you with a wave. Bao, what's the status on those medical supplies? Our objective now is just to go to bed. So I guess that was a moderately good ending. We didn't get the good ending because we didn't sleep enough. We needed to sleep 5 times, apparently, throughout the game, but whatever. The scene on the Kraken is quiet, save for the sounds of eating. The crew is crowded around Gobbet's electric hot plate. Her cast iron pot simmers on top, and they hold bowls of soup in their hands. You recognize the smell: chicken-style soya broth, elbow macaroni, tin tam, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. Mycoprotein? The mood is somber. You're eating? Gobbet shrugs. Couldn't remember the last time we ate, and so we figured to hang for a while. She looks over her bowl at Duncan. Besides, no one can sleep anyways. She means me. I'm too fucked up to sleep, trying not to think about Raymond. Wu takes an enormous gulp of soup, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. They're just keeping me company, feeding me and pretending not to be tired, talking a bit. Yeah, I'm still jacked up. Bed can wait. Isabel finishes a chunk of something in her soup with her fishes a chunk of something out of her soup with her fingers and flicks it to the floor. We've been debriefing a bit. Yeah, talking about all that's going on. Everything we've been through together. She shuffles her feet a bit. Sorry about Raymond Seattle, you two, Duncan. He's trying to do good with that machine. You two need to remember that. Wu drops his head. His words come out slowly as if they were being forcibly extracted. Can't believe he did that. Gave himself to that demon. It was justice. He caused a lot of harm. Justice? He shakes his head, sips his soup thoughtfully. I don't know anything about justice anymore. Isabel stares over her bowl at the wall of the trawler. Her voice is soft. Hard to believe we defeated a god. Demon god. Gobbet stirs her soup with her fingers from another plane of existence. Hard to believe that Josephine Sang is going to remain untarnished by this whole thing. The little Decker's face hardens. 20 years of misery, 20 years of suffering, for tens of thousands, hundreds maybe. That's the way it is. That's the way the world works. The powerful play their games, and the little people pay the price. She will see justice someday. She has to. But one thing doesn't add up for me. Why was Josephine Sang so intent on shutting us down? Why wouldn't she be? You saw what she was responsible for. Now think about it. The HKPF, snipers, the plastic-faced man, all the resources she poured into capturing Raymond and hunting us down. I mean, she's already covered her tracks with that illegal drug explosion, right? Why not let Ray do his thing, then cover up afterwards? It doesn't add up. Had to be the Fortune engine itself. I think you're right. From everything Raymond said, the key was supposed to be pooling, turning toxic, but something in that room, a flow of positive key that I didn't expect. Gobbet wrinkles her nose, and stares at the floor of the trawler for several seconds, apparently lost in thought. I think he was leaving the walled city. I bet that machine did something else, something that Raymond didn't know about. The little Decker stirs her soup, pondering, what if it was a siphon? What if Josephine Sang was stealing the cast-off key from the walled city, leeching it for her own benefit? Ooh, nods at Isabel, runs with her train of thought. She sealed up the Fortune engine, leached the good key for herself, and took Sang Mechanical Services from the minor company of Ray's father to the ballbuster it is today. His jaw tightens. That's how she got herself on the Executive Council of Hong Kong. Of course, this is all speculation, can't prove any of it, but if Josephine was using the positive key that the Fortune engine was casting off, she isn't getting it anymore. Your foster father saw to that. Gobbet taps her spoon against the rim of her bowl. Guess we'll see what happens to her. We'll just have to wait and see. Gobbet finishes her soup, lets out a little belch, and pats her stomach satisfied. She tosses the bowl in the corner for madness and folly. So Seattle, what now? Maybe watch a trid? Anything on? There's always something on, but I say we bag it and get some sleep, especially you, Eltimar. He winks at you. You look like shit. Why does everyone tell me that? We get the option to catch up with everybody in the crew, and then we'll get the end of the game, I guess. We're going to end the video here, though we're 32 minutes, so we'll just finish up talking to people in the next video, and that will be the end of this playthrough. I'll see you guys shortly.